Okay. Hi everybody, this is Josh with Inktology, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to just go through 10 questions, of why I suck at art. Maybe you've had that thought. I keep on drawing, I keep on practicing. Why do I suck at it? Well, I don't think you actually suck at art. Actually, I think you're great at art. There's some things, though, that may be hindering you, but what are they? And I'm just gonna kind of go through them while I draw and kind of doodle today and sketch out some ideas. And you can see my process of how I kind of build something that may look bad at the beginning and may even make me want to give up. But eventually, once it's finished, there's some completion to it and I learn a little bit of stats grow up, And the cool thing is that we have erasers. What a great invention. So grab your pencil, grab your eraser, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. That'd be very cool and helpful to a fellow artist. And let's just start drawing and be free of worry and have fun, because making mistakes also creates really cool ideas and images. So let's get to it. All right. Now, before we begin, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a glove, it's just because I'll be drawing pencil over here and ink over here, and if I'm going back and forth, I don't want them to smear back and forth. That's about it. Don't need a glove to draw. Grab your pencil. You can use, a 2B, 2H, any kind of pencil that you like. I am using a mechanical pencil with a 2H lead. It's harder, it's the shading is a little bit harder on it. It's lighter color. It just feels better to sketch with versus something softer where there's a lot of blending and shading to do with that, which is great for realism, but I'm just doing sketching. So today we're going to be doing just a pose. I'm going to be moving into the mythology of Norse mythology, and that's going to be Thor, Odin, Loki, these characters. And I'm excited because I really love this mythology, but I kind of want to just doodle, play some with these markers. I got these Copic markers, and definitely want to utilize those. Yeah, we're going to be answering some questions about why I suck at art. Number one question. Why do my drawings never look like what's in my head? Well, yeah, that's the biggest question, right? Because I struggle with that all the time. I imagine something like right now, I'm imagining Thor just passed out over this throne chair, right? And with holding this big sword. And it looks cool in my head because Thor looks cool and he's big and broad and enormous, but can I portray it correctly on here? Well, I don't know. Because I've already put my first drawing on, and proportionally, it's not going to work. So I need to back up, take the effort to actually say I made a mistake and sometimes just restart when I can. Now, when you go so far, then you make mistakes, you can't, then, creativity comes into play. But I know that this is what I want. Let's do this. I want his hand here, and then I want his other hand here, but I want this. Oh, he doesn't have a sword. What am I doing? Yeah. He's a hammer kind of guy. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's put his hammer here. Let's make this his hammer. This one do. I need his head resting here. Right? And you see how I'm just kind of I'm just laying out stuff. Nothing's proportionate yet. I know that he's going to be on his shoulder over here. Perspectively, I can already see I'm looking at this direction. So if the chair or the crown, the throne is here, then, put his shoulders here, here's his head, right? Torso, big old torso. and not really worried. I think I want his hand up here, usually holding a sword. You know how people hold swords from the top and they're stabbing into the ground, but he doesn't do a sword, he does a hammer, which, what would I do with this arm then? You know, is the question. So, out of that mistake, if I don't have a sword, then maybe I can do like, big fuzzy dog. I don't know. Yeah, let's just wing it. His hand's coming over here to pet a big fuzzy dog. Everyone loves dogs. And then we'll just, you know, I wasn't joking. I was serious. Does it make sense? No. Doesn't make sense, but it's fun. It never looks the way you think it's going to look, because what ends up happening is, what I find, this is my personal belief, is that whenever you start drawing, like see how I started drawing him? I had this imagined, so this is somewhat of why I started, but the dog wasn't, and the arm up here without the sword wasn't, and his torso, I think, it's not even actually in my imagination. But what ends up happening is once you start drawing it, and let's say you don't do this process fully and get it fully out there, and that's what this is meant to do. This is meant to get as much information from my first imagination to the page, so I don't start manipulating it too much, right? And the problem is, once you start to manipulate it, let's say you start just drawing this period and you don't draw the rest of the image, I'll start focusing on Thor and the way he looks and his actions and his emotions and all these other things, and then start building different parts of the image and changing it without even actually realizing it. And then by the time, you know, you've done just a torso, you've already changed so much. And that's due to, you know, not having planned it out pretty precisely. And that's what this stage is for, is to help you get past that stage of where you would be able to manipulate it too much, where it doesn't look like what looks like in your head, right? And it's a hard thing. That's what we either like to draw, because this part here is not the fun part, really. Sometimes it can be fun. Right now, it's not that fun, because it just, to me, it looks all goofy and out of, yeah, I don't know what's happening right now, but you know, we're just gonna still go with it, okay? But yeah, so try to get it out as the best you can into proportion, and then work from there. If you have to stick figure it, honestly, that's what I do half the time too, because stick figures work as long as you know what they're gonna be angled at. All right, so that's my sketch. This paper over here on the left side is for sketching. This one here is for markers on the right, as well as ink. Now, I have these little bit bolder pencils, and I'm going to be trying them out. See if I can get some more detail here. Question number 2, why do my proportions always look wrong? Well, you know what? If you look at a lot of artists, honestly, our proportions are never really 100%. You know, we're making up stuff, and it's, I mean, if you want really good proportions, then you have to do the due diligence, right? You have to actually work it out. Do the drawing techniques, the stuff that colleges teach, you know, as the basics. Learn the proportions. How far is the arm from this, and how much does it, you know. That's really, if you want to just do it, just get the proportions, and then learn perspective, of course, because the proportions fit into that. It's all, you know, it seems harder than you think, but it's not. Actually, once you actually kind of draw out a few examples, the rest of it comes into play. You know, like, it's not as hard as you think. I think you psych yourself out a lot, and I mean, I did for a long time, and then I started learning, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, man, I should just done this a while back. And I'm still bad at it, though, so I can't say it's just because, you know, when you're pulling stuff in your mind, you're bending things in reality in your head, and it's hard to, you know, hard to correct that, especially when you like the drawing or you've gone so far in the piece of art. This is still an art. You have to remember that you are building something from nothing. You're creating something. So when it comes out imperfect, don't be sad. Just realize, man, this is a craft. This is the kind of the fun part. I mean, the universe is imperfect. But you know, for you to be alive, that's pretty awesome, right? This time period, it's pretty rad to have all this access to art. You don't have to be mixing your own paint. Oh, those days would have been rough. But yeah, just the honest truth is, guys, proportions is hard. It's just a hard thing. You're always gonna have to be drawing, practicing. Just do different proportions to keep practicing. But never give up, and don't let it depress you. That's the main thing. I think people get depressed because they're like, oh, you know, my proportions are all wrong. It's like, well, yeah, but my proportions are all wrong. It's just you don't realize it. You know, my art piece, and there's a lot of comic book artists. There's a lot of real Renaissance artists. Their proportions and faces were wacky, yet we love the art. So proportions aren't everything. It's more about what the art is saying, what it's delivering, and then from there, you know, that's when you can start going, okay, you know, nitpick at it if you want, but really that's between you and you. But trick is learn to not care, because in the end, it doesn't really matter. You know, if someone likes your art and you like your art, that's what matters. The proportions don't really matter. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here right now. Okay, we got him going. We're going. We're doing it. We're you know. It's hard to remember what I'm doing sometimes. Just on my drawing whenever I'm trying to talk. Obviously, hard thing to do. Okay, since this dog creature, wolf, is here, might as well draw him in. Gonna make him big old paws. Look at that, enormous paws here. All right, well, let's continue. Question number 3. Why do my lines look shaky and messy? Okay, now this here is one of the things that when I was young, I had to learn to stop doing, and it was an interesting thing to figure out. In my mind, whenever I see an image, it's moving, it's active, it's this action with emotion to it, and when I draw that action, I'm so into the item or into the character, you know, like the biceps and the muscles bulging and being so strong and be like, oh, I got power, you know, that I will just continue to draw, overdraw. And what that looks like is, I'm gonna do it real quick. So, okay, it's right here. You can see my lines are, they're detached. They're thick and thin. They're scribbly. They may define the bicep, but because they've got thick lines in places that they shouldn't, and their lines are mixed with, well, whatever form I'm trying to create here, it looks scratchy. It looks very, I like to say, like, you know, middle school. It's more of a middle school thing, because I think in high school they force you to kind of smooth out these lines, you know, do one stroke. The idea of art and creating art, someone told me once, or I read somewhere, I don't know where, but it was telling a story or creating an image with as least amount of brush strokes as possible. And right, because like when you just do a smiley face and you're going to have it, you understand what's going on. Something's happy, and it's someone, right? There's already a story that's very simple. And it relates to everybody, and that's why, because it relates to as many people as possible. So yeah, sketchy lines, shaky lines, they are something you have to practice just giving into confident line work, right? And that comes with you just, hey, you know what? Give up a little bit. Can I just tell you that? Just give up. Not like give up drawing, but like give up on being so critical on yourself, huh? Why don't you take a break on yourself? And because sometimes we can be a little bit hard, all right? We can be a little hard on our art and be like, look, you know what? I'm working hard here. I'm making some progress. It may not be like these Instagrammers or all this YouTubers or whatever, but I'm making moves. I'm putting my effort. I got time. I'm gonna do it. Now, if you're older like me and you're like, oh wait, how much time? Dude, some of the best artists started their careers in their late, 40s and stuff. So I think you need to relax. And I think you're doing great. I think you're doing great because if you're watching this video, that means you're looking for answers. You're trying to learn. You want to study, and by all means, that's the best thing you can have right there. Easily, and you are doing great. You're doing great. So relax. Okay. This sketchy line thing right here, you'll smooth it out. You'll get it all smooth. Don't worry. You'll get there. And if you don't, then who cares? Keep your own style. You do your thing. Art is about just, relating to what you like and what you enjoy and what other people want to support you doing it. And there's always a supporter for every style of art. And you know that. You are on the internet. You know the wackiness of the internet. And so you're in a safe place. Okay? Yeah. All right. Why does shading make my drawing look dirty instead of polished? All right. Well, that's a simple one. When you shade, what you would consider an amateur shade, or someone who shades, or you might not like. Okay, how about this? I'll just say, someone who is learning to shade versus someone who has kind of master shading realizes the difference of pressure versus and angle of shading versus just filling in the darkness and building contrast, right? I could just scribble in darkness here. Does it make sense? Not really, but I need to build lighter tone so it fades in to the white, right? Doing these different levels creates a certain look. Some people do this with their fingers and smudge it. This is why I also wear a glove, is because when you're shading, you're building a lot of lead on the paper, yeah? And then when your skin is oily or sweaty or whatever, you just pretty much smooth it over, and it just gets everywhere, I can't speak today. Everywhere. So, yeah, that's the main reason why you would be smudging, is because your hand is rubbing over it and you have oily hands, right? Also, yeah, start in the top left if you're right-handed, and then move your way down. I find that to be the easiest. You could do here. That's hard. Maybe here, up and around. Left-handed, obviously, you would want to start here and go around, right? But yeah, when you have a very... Sorry, I'm going to cheat here because I want to draw this thing real quick. You know what? I like gauntlets, and I like things that go over the hand a little bit too much. It's pretty much on every character. I get it from the Japanese, like gloves, and then, a lot of warriors and stuff. So hands, a very difficult thing to draw, and a thing I hate to draw. You know what? One day we'll have to do to see if I could even teach such a thing, because I don't even think I'm worthy. I'm the worst at hands. But the pencil and the eraser until you get it right, you know? It's really just about until you don't. And I think a lot of artists today, the ones that I've met that can't draw these certain things, is due to, you know, they kind of give up. You kind of give up. And it's not because you're not trying, it's because it's exhausting. Is it not exhausting to keep trying something and it just keeps on, it doesn't look right, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? What's happening? And then you kind of just like, you know what, I'm just gonna move on to it, which is fine. You can do that. You can, yeah, do that. But it doesn't help master the skill of learning that thing you're trying to draw, right? When you force yourself to get that perfect thing and it finally sticks and it's perfect, you know, proportionately, and the way that you want it to look, however it may be, then you feel not only accomplished, but you also see what you did wrong, and there's a lot more experience behind you now, right? And that, you know, it's hard to it's really hard. Don't get me wrong, guys. Being an artist is a hard life. I would say it's the encouragement of difficulty in order to produce beauty, right? It's not easy. We challenge our minds to say, how I see things differently. How can I tell it visibly? And how can people understand what my brain is trying to conjure up? You know, like that is some seriously hard stuff to deal with, and yet we tackled it. We tackle it. We'll see. Now this is all bent. Man, Josh. The eraser. Yeah. All right, we're still good. But yeah, try to avoid moving your hand too much. Find a good location where you want to start. Build a routine for creating that. The shading, so it doesn't get all messy like what I'm doing here. I shouldn't be shading too much with this one because it's so soft. It just kind of rubs everywhere. And this one here is even softer, so. But yeah. Learn different techniques of shading too. You know, a few little things that I always like to do is whenever I want to make something shiny, is you just saw how shaded it was. It was just normal shading. I had no purpose, but then I added a line here of darker shadow, kind of building an idea of a reflection, because that's usually what you see, right? And it's always darkest closest to the light, right? Because of the contrast, and then it fades back in. Even though they may be the same color, the visible, when you see it, that's what it looks like. So we draw that. And then you get some kind of metallic look to it, eh? Yeah, some kind of, you get a texture and everything. Bada boom, bada bang. Looks good. But yeah, let's move on. Why do my characters all look the same? Well, stop drawing them the same. What can I say? Why are you drawing them the same? I'm just messing with you guys. Relax. No. I think it's mainly because we are in love with that look. We're in love with that look, right? Dragon Ball Z used to be the thing, right? When I was growing up, and everybody drew Dragon Ball Z, even if they created their own character. I remember when I was little, I created my own character, and it looked like Calvin and Hobbes. It looked like Calvin. Actually, my best friend and I created him. Man, I forget his name now, but he's pretty much Calvin with like a superhero identity, and could skateboard and stuff or whatever, and yeah. But But yeah, I think it's because when we love something, it ingrains into our imagination so strongly that we don't realize that it actually infects the way, what am I doing here? Oops. It affects the way we actually start drawing, and but that's kind of the way that's cool. That's what art does. When art, you know, when art infiltrates your mind and it just starts coming up out of nowhere, that it resembles something else, like that means that person who created it, something else, had such an impact. And that's really cool, because that's probably what happens with your art. You might not realize it, you might not think so, but some kid or some person or somebody probably sees your art, and they go home and they're sitting there at their desk waiting for a meeting to start, and they start doodling, and they start doodling your style. You know, how cool is that? And they don't realize it, you know, and you probably think, oh, I'm a nobody, why would they do that? But that's art. Art doesn't have to have somebody. You know, it doesn't I mean, it has to have somebody do it, but it doesn't need your name, right? It doesn't need your permission. Art does what art does. It'll change a person's soul if it needs to. So you don't worry about how good you are and stuff. You worry about just you doing you and creating that art piece so the world can see it. Give it to us. That's what we need, right? You're probably thinking, like, how am I coming up with all the shading and everything like that? I'm winging it, honestly, hoping for some kind of miracle to happen at this point, and I think that's how I'm going to build my chair. It's kind of like going to the edge and just shading this in and hoping that the viewer forgives me, because I don't want to draw in all this, so make it look like a light coming from this direction a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'll have the light coming from this direction. That'll help me out with all the hard stuff, huh? It's one of those fancy royal wooden chairs. I don't know, some horns on them or something. Anyways, give us some armpit hair, needs it. In this kind of situation, I don't really want to draw a lot, but I do have to draw his hand. So draw the knuckles, right? I like to draw the knuckles, and then draw the flat part, and then the rest comes pretty simple. And I'm just going to do hair, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you'll get the gist later. Sometimes it's okay to cheat like this and just not do any details and just give up. Like me, where I just did not want to do it. That is being lazy, but productively lazy, because the information isn't really lost that much, right? I could add a few little minor details in here, like these little scales, and you're like, oh, okay, so he's got some armor on. You'll just make up some stuff in your head, you know. That's how art works. It's cool. Okay, can't get away with it all the time, but sometimes. And this is a great example of how nice the 2B pencil is and how well it actually shades, or maybe even a 4B. This might even be an 8B for all I know. Does it say? 602? It doesn't even say, it should say, but anyways. Yeah. And they don't have to be expensive pencils. Honestly, I've tried the cheap ones and I've tried the expensive ones. And there's a little bit of a difference, but that's on such a minor scale. I think it's like the weight feel and the lead feeling, and a little bit of the darkness, of course, and how it rubs off on the paper. But honestly, I've created drawings with both, and they're both almost unrecognizable. You just wouldn't really care at that point, you know. So you know, don't worry about the price of the pencils. These black wings, I saw someone use them and they said they were great for writing and sketching, and I was like, all right, let me try them out. And they are fun. They are fun. I don't know what's going on here with his outfit. Yeah, whatever. He's wearing a canister. That's what it looks like. It's all right. So we got him all slouched over, drunk or something, petting the dog. That's what's happening here. A little shimmer of the hair, shading on the right side here. It's coming down this way. Yeah, it's looking good. And then for him, he can go, we can get some, maybe boar fur, bear fur. Probably bear, obviously, it's Thor. Yeah, shading, you know. So I'm gonna just make up stuff and just like doodle and then see where it goes, because it kind of forces you into some really weird pickles and you're like, oh boy, how am I gonna do this? But then it kind of works out. Kind of works out. Adding some boots here, have his leg all out here. Let's shade this dark and black because you won't see it anyways. Not an easy angle for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't really work out. But we'll just shade away our problems for this moment. And that's how I'll get away with it. I will shade it away. Hey, artist's gotta do what an artist's gotta do. Don't tell me you don't do this kind of stuff. You'd be lying to yourself if you don't cheat like this. We got 1,000 issues with our drawings. Okay. Boots there, probably needs more fur. let's see, what angle is this coming from? So his torso here is here. So this leg is meant to be kind of like this. I don't know, guys, I don't really know. I'm just gonna shade it until I get it right. Maybe this should be more offsetting. It looks like I broke his legs. Okay, guys. Sometimes you gotta take a loss, and this is a loss. You gotta erase. You gotta know when you messed up. All right, while we're at it, let's fix this hammer, guys. Come on, I know. I was just messing with you about the hammer. I didn't like the hammer anyways. It's just because it's flat was what I don't like. Right, anyways, it gave us a base for the hammer itself, so we'll do that. Okay. So, as of right now, I am going to finish up Thor the sketch and then move over here to some marker drawing and yeah, talk about the other questions about why I suck at art. And I'm talking about just me, I'm talking about all of us. Why do we all suck at art? Maybe because we have put, of course there's a phone vibration on this recording. Sorry guys, but you get it. But maybe because we put our standards way too high for the amount of time and skill set that they put into it versus what we do. Now we've seen some prodigals, what am I thinking? Prodigies. It's still morning, guys, for me. And that's cool and all, but those are prodigies. They're so rare. But even if they are prodigies, they still work hard for it. It doesn't even mean they're going to even continue it, you know? So it doesn't matter. You should be happy that people can be so good at something, and don't let their skills reflect your joy, right? So this is about you. This has nothing to do with them. You're here to draw and have fun, to enjoy your art, to enjoy telling stories, you know? Right? Is this not what you want? What is it that you want? Whatever it is, go for it, get it. You know, as long as it's safe and healthy for you. But, you know, don't put yourself up against these like awesome Instagram artists or professionals. They've been doing it their whole life, and they've also had a lifestyle that probably allowed them to get to that point. So much harder. You know, some people don't have time and freedoms to draw. Like I am literally drawing this right now, about to post this and not even edit this because I had zero time this week. And it's just because I don't want to, you know, I don't want my followers to be like, well, where's Josh? He's so inconsistent, which is fair. I don't want to be inconsistent. I'm trying my hardest. But these days it's complicated schedule. But yeah, so forgive me guys on that. But anyways, most of him will be drawn in, shaded in. I think I've asked some people before, like why, you know, why do they draw, right? And some people say like, you know, they just grew up doing it, or they just like it. I think I haven't heard anyone say that they draw because, you know, they have to. Right? I don't think anyone's really said that. They get to. But drawing is such a privilege in any form, even if it's 3D or painting or whatever your format is. The idea you get to create and draw and sketch something or build something else and that may come to life in someone's imagination or in reality even. You know, people who are architects build these things that we live in. You know what I mean? How cool is that? But you should just remember to enjoy the process and not allow it to become a job. Yeah, you don't want it as a job, right? You don't want it as a job. Don't make it a job. Make it a hobby, and if you think it looks bad, that's the one that you should show people then. How about that? Show people your bad ones. Get yourself out there, get embarrassed faster. That's when you want to be a real artist? Get embarrassed fast. That's the truth right there. Put your art out there, let people ridicule you, talk trash about it, say nasty things about it. But that's being an artist. That's when you know you're doing something, because you're putting emotions in people and those emotions are raging out to where they have to say something negative, right? And honestly, no, I don't want you to go for negative publicity kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying though, if someone does, that means you've made an effort. You've made such an impression on their life through your art that they feel this way. Now, you don't want it to be a super hateful thing kind of thing, but I'm talking about like, you know, like, they're like, Josh, I hate this because Thor would never be doing this, or this looks ugly, bad sketching lines, or something like that, or, you know, they're trying to just nitpick. Well, I made you look at it enough that you got excited, is what I'm saying. But I am not saying create art hatefully or ill intent of any nature. I don't condone that kind of stuff. I think the extreme I would condone is like comic strip, political humor art. Like, you know, you get newspapers where like they're making fun of the president, or they're making fun of like politicians passing laws, or the war, or something like that. You know, like that kind of stuff is, I condone that because it's kind of like a freedom of speech thing, which is greatly important. So yeah, this is fun, and I'm sure it's not the best drawing of Thor in the world, and it's not trying to be. It's just trying to make me happy, and it's doing it because I like it. I like it a lot, and that's what you should be doing art, because you like it. Never let go of that reason too. If you have a reason why you do art, my reason for doing art is because when I was little, I really didn't like, honestly, I didn't have like friends around. I didn't have much, like, family was always busy. I had Ninja Turtles, the TV, and someone gave me a piece of paper and some crayons, and I was like, cool, what's this? Let me figure this out. And from then on out, I was like, I can create the things that I see on TV. I can create the Ninja Turtles? No. And then I had X-Men. I was like, oh no, game is on. So I just never gave up. And I like what I see. I like to recreate my versions of what I see. That's why when you go to my Instagram, you'll see like 1,000 different art styles, because I like to test. I like to see what the experience is like. What does it feel like to paint in oil, or sketch with this pencil, or do it like this, you know? And I think a lot of you guys might be that way too. And I encourage you to definitely do it. Save up every dollar you can to get the equipment to do it, and then go get the equipment and practice, because it's fun. It's so much fun, and it's helpful. Oil painting helped my proportions more than, oh man, more than some teachers have taught me. Miss Hunt, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't pay attention in class, and that's not your fault. I was a very crazy young man. Yeah. Anyways, she was a great teacher, fantastic teacher. But proportions I never really learned until I took this class on Scott Waddell. He has a online course, and it's affordable, and he even has some YouTube channels free, and he shows how to oil paint. But his proportion building and stuff was just, man, such a good technique. I'm like, why didn't I not learn this technique? Like blocking out the shadows and the darks and the lights and stuff in order to get it, you know, whatever. Most of my life, you know, if I can figure out perspective better too, that'd make me very happy. I'm sure someone has a technique out there that I can master. Anyways, I think this looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? Do you think this is... This is a cool Thor drawing, sketch. You know, just a morning sketch kind of thing for you guys. Yeah. Hey, Thor. Okay, he's a little goofy looking, but whatever. I'm satisfied, and this is where I should be. I should be just satisfied and enjoy the fact that this is a simple drawing. Now I can erase most of him and ink him and actually put detail into him, but at least I have something, an idea. Oh, that would make much more sense if I had a tail. Go in here. Yeah. It's a dog, you know? Gotta have the tail. Yeah, right on. Okay, now we're just going to begin with the ink drawing process. I'm not going to sketch anything. I'm just going to wing it. We're gonna have fun. You know, if I make a mistake, a mistake. But yeah, I'm just gonna use the 0.1 Molotow black liner. Okay. As I asked before, why do all my characters look the same? It's because you're just drawing the same. You know, if you're talking about the style of it, that is because you have not explored other styles and actually accurately replicated it and applied it. You have to, not only do you have to replicate it, there's a two-step, right? If I want to draw like this style, I would draw this style again as best I can, replicating each little line here and there. But then I would apply my own character or different things in there to test it out if I am actually understanding the style, and that's how you kind of learn. So within a drawing, add a few of your items or ideas or twist his legs or do things that would change it to where you're actually practicing. You've got a lot of it the same structure, but then you change a few things and then you can master that one style. But you want to try a lot of styles, that way you can kind of figure out, ooh, which one do I like more, which one feels better. Now you don't have to, you can stay with your own style. If you like your own style, you found it, you got it, good for you. But I like a bunch of different styles, so try different styles, your characters will change. With proportions and learning proportions, your characters will start to change as well and stuff. Why do I freeze when I see a blank page? Ooh, my worst enemy, the blank page. Bum, bum, bum. Paper is sacred. You know, I think it's because we think that the permanence of it all will affect the final outcome of our art piece. And you see how I'm sketching here in these lines with a pen, like a pencil. This is not how you really would do it, but I've done it enough to I've learned to manipulate it and get away with smoothing out the lines and making them almost look invisible. And that's just because I've learned my technique. But I'm afraid of doing it because sometimes I'm like, do I want to do it in the style that looks like this or my style? My style is easier to do because I can just wing it. But if I do it like in a really good clean style, then that's a lot of effort. I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna mess up. It's a lot of energies. It's a lot of time. Oh, I gotta focus. Do I have time to focus? Is it worth it? I just want to doodle. Actually, I just want to doodle. I just want to doodle, and then you don't do it. The page kind of turns into a doodle page, and then the art piece gets put on the backtrack. I don't know. This is just me. Honestly, this is me. You're hearing what I do to myself because I psych myself out. I think we just all need to relax a little bit, you know? And just create some art. You know, we're creative people, and this is something that's being hindered because we're seeing so much social media, and we're seeing our art being challenged by the fact that everyone's like got 1,000 likes and all this nonsense that means nothing. Go meet these people at these conventions that have these, 500,000 likes and stuff. They are working hard, insanely hard, and they deserve most of the time those 100,000 views and all that stuff. And you gotta give them credit for it because it's impressive. My gosh, it's a lot of work. Filming all day, editing, thinking of new ideas to keep engaged, thumbnails, pros. But nonetheless, a lot of the time you see what you're seeing is out of a world full of millions of artists, you're seeing one or two of their images that have got millions of likes and stuff that shouldn't relate to you, because all it is like, was it fame pushing? It's pushing the fame for Instagram and social media, whatever it may be. You want real artists to recognize it, and communities are where they're at, and there's tons of them. And like Discord has tons of art communities that will definitely give you feedback and, really be constructive about things, which I recommend far more. Okay, so I'm just winging it. I'm doing too much detail because I want to do that. But I'm going to raise up. This feels so thin, and it pushes me to do too much detail, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to move all the way up to a 4. And that's probably going to be something that's going to force me to make thicker, more bolder lines. But I think we freeze because, there's a lot of fear of what we might mess up. Maybe I think. You know what? You tell me. Put in your comments when you see a blank page. Why do you freeze? Why do you not draw? Why do you not paint or sketch? Right? What's the reason why you back up and go, maybe not, and it doesn't get done? I would love to know. My reason, yeah, I think I gave you my reason. If not, I'll give another one. Another reason is that, no, it's really just time and trying to decide on what kind of style is hard too, Like right here, you're like, what is he creating? And I don't even know what I'm creating. I'm just having fun. I am just having fun. Because if you can't have fun, what's the point of doing art? Art is supposed to be fun. See, sometimes you get lucky. I somehow got a little bit lucky. I gotta put his eye. This other eye has to work out. Eyes are tough. Eyes are rough. Oh, see, I already messed up the eye. See if I can save it. Okay. Hey, question number 7. Why do I give up halfway through my drawing? So this is a big issue with you look through all of my art pieces and you'll see that a lot of my drawings aren't finished. And that's because once I get halfway through the idea, I realize that if it doesn't look proper the way I want it to, or if it's not looking amazing, my energy levels drop huge. I get down on myself because I'm like, well, it looks all right, but then there's a lot of salvaging I have to do to get it where it should be, and and I think that's, it forces me to like make a decision, like, do I want to like try something different? Maybe I want to do a different scene, or maybe even in my imagination I do switch scenes, like because my brain says, hey, this looks cooler and maybe I should have made them this way, and I want to, and it just drives me insane, so I eventually just give up on the original and then go for that one, which could be the case. But I think it's, you let me know. Why do you stop? Same as before. What happens when you look at a blank page? I don't know. I start drawing and then I get distracted. I have like this ADHD kind of thing too when I get drawing. If it's not super intriguing, it's not super engaging, or if somebody just comes in and distracts me once and I'm done, that's what it could very much be. So plus I get bored of drawings once I start drawing them. Like him, I don't want to draw this. I just don't want to draw it. That's the honest truth. I didn't want to draw it. So I shaded most of it in and went through it. Got through it as fast as possible. I did it for you guys. So like when you see drawings sometimes and they look beautiful, they have this negative space and all this stuff. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, how much of that is actual intentional and how much of that is them just not wanting to draw, and then them working in an idea of the negative space being a part of the drawing. Which is fine. You gotta do what you gotta do, You gotta do what you gotta do. So we're drawing Loki here, if you're wondering what's happening here. This is Loki. I have him wearing a helmet, which, there you go. Now you know it's Loki. Kind of fun, isn't it? I think so. I know for myself, one of the biggest, neutralizers for me to actually creating art and doing things that I enjoy is the fact that I compare myself a lot. And that's not good. Comparing yourself doesn't help anything. And that's something artists, we do because we're trying to find inspiration, but the more we look for inspiration sometimes, we lose our own. And you need to protect your own inspiration, because your inspiration is, it's not trying to judge you or anything, it's trying to get you to do something, while you are actually trying to force yourself into a judgment status, which you shouldn't, because, you just shouldn't. Right? Like, don't compare yourself. Different lifestyles, different timing, different strengths in your own life. You might be good at inking. They may be good at penciling. They may be good at painting. You may be good at juggling. Who knows? But you don't have to hold yourself to any kind of standard and feel judged. And I know that's one reason why you don't draw, possibly, and that's definitely a reason why I don't draw. definitely depressing. But I've turned it, when I see something really cool looking, like really amazing drawing, I turn it to energy that I'm like, I'm gonna go draw. Now, I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna make it just like that, and if it's not like that, I'm gonna get depressed. No, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna utilize those techniques or whatever I saw in that, and then we'll go from there, you know? But usually I try not to get too depressed or anything about it, because you know what? I've done so many drawings that I'm like, wow, it's not that great. And then I've seen so many drawings that are fantastic that never get recognized. And then I see things that are, you know, to me sometimes are not that great. And then they get hugely recognized. And I'm like, what? But that's, you know, the world of art is weird. And in the end, it should just really please you when you do your art. You should really just enjoy it. When you see it, you're like happy. Like, hey, I did that. Cool. Cool. If you can get to that point in your artistic career, you know, that's when you really succeeded. And that's when artists really envy you, because then you're joyfully living your life as an artist. And that's what, I mean, I think that's for anybody, for any job really, right? They're like, yeah. But just try to enjoy doing art. Don't make it a job. Don't think that you don't need to be battling anybody. You're just supposed to have fun. You know, there's some guys I follow, they do Dragon Ball Z drawings and anime, and it's just sketching, and it's just fun to watch them draw, because it's nice to see them really happy about the characters that they're drawing, because they watch the animes and they get to finally bring that character to life in their own hands and their own skill set. And even though it's not 100% accurate, right? Like sometimes the body proportions are a little bit off or whatever, the muscles are a little bit too rigid or whatever it may be. It's still cool, it's still rad, and it's their version, and that's pretty rad, you know? They got ownership of that, and you know, I think that's why some of us started drawing when we were young too, you know? It's nice to be able to draw and have ownership. And I think as artists, we also like knowing that people enjoy the things that we create, and doing art like that is very relatable, right? And it's fun. It's just fun. Everybody can share into that kind of art, because everybody knows that art. All right. So Loki's looking pretty cool. Need to put a hand here. Let's have him wearing gloves. I really do gloves, but when doing wrinkles, just find the corner point of anything that you're drawing from. Like right here is the corner point. When I push down, it's going to make one wrinkle, but you can do one, sometimes throw off 2 or 3, because the other ones here, you can see there's 3 and 2. Oh, you can't see probably. How about that? See those wrinkles? Yeah, anyways. So it's always good to draw the knuckles here. Okay, a little bit of a distorted hand, not gonna lie. A little goofy. But it'll have to do. Supposed to be a creepy hand. Pretty creepy to me, dude. Pretty creepy to me. All right, so let's get his helmet done. This is a weird looking helmet, don't get me wrong. It is very weird. Okay. Giving some details. You don't have to always draw all the lines in, especially when you're trying to move through fast like I am. This here will be shaded with the gray, so I'm going to be using these Copic markers, so that's where this is going to be utilized. But yeah. Are people better than you? No, they're not better than you. You think they are because they're at a certain level that they have really worked super hard for, but they're not really better than you. Yeah. There are artists that honestly, on a skill level for certain things, yes, they may not have the certain skill set mastered as others. But does that mean they're as talented, they're more talented or a better artist than you? That's a little bit hard to say, because I don't even know if that's even possible, to tell you the truth, because artists are really, we really kind of character each other off of not only what kind of art style we push, but the message we push with our art, but also the character of who we are as people, because you don't want to know a terrible artist, right? Like a bad person. It doesn't make you feel good to know a bad person in real life anyways. So, I don't know, like, I think artists, I don't know, think of Frida Kahlo, right? She had a tough life. Her art is good. It's good. Is it master level, right? Is it Michelangelo or some of these masters? Who knows? Some would say that it is, but it's revolutionary. It changed people's ways of thinking. It was unique to her. It was a fantastic, and it is fantastic art. And her story, her whole life told this art, right? And that's kind of part of it, right? So you have to take into account pretty much everything an artist is to say they're better than you, but they're never really better than you. So it doesn't matter, because you each person's individually unique. You're unique. You're special, and your art and your image and the way each brush stroke that you push to that paper is unique because you did it in this time period, on this day, on that paper with this brush, because you were feeling this emotion. That's because you are the artist. So no one is better than you. It's just whether or not they put theirs to the paper and finish the piece. So it's really up to you. Are you going to finish a piece, or are you going to sit there and make an excuse why this drawing and this imagination didn't come out of your head and onto that paper or canvas? Stop making excuses. You're an artist, you're creative. Go create and finish it and showcase it. Give it out to the world. Say, hello guys, this is my piece. Enjoy. Anyways, we're getting into this and I'm almost kind of done. But I'm going to rush through this because my dog is coming in right now and I want to get to editing. But we do have 2 more questions, so let's get to them. 9. Question number 9. Why do I feel like my art isn't good enough? I think this kind of was explained through the whole thing we just went through. You're comparing yourself too much. And you know what, maybe stay off social media or something when you're creating your art, or maybe take breaks more. That way your comparison level drops and then you just kind of focus more on your own creativity. That might be helpful. It might help stop feeling like your art isn't good enough, because it is very much good enough. And it's needed. It's needed. More art needs to be out there. You know, the world may try to be more censored as we go forward, so in that case, art is necessary. It is mandatory, and your voice is mandatory. At least I say so, but you know, it's up to you, of course. And not really mandatory, but it'd be nice to have your stuff out there at least. Let's see, let's do... Okay. And why do I suck at drawing hands, faces, and poses, and a lot of other things? These things, why? Why do you? Well, why do I? I think about that all the time. Like, man, how come I cannot get this hand right? Or how come I can't get this arm? Why is his hand all crinkled up inwards? Like, I know it's creepy, but man. This is because just poor planning. You know that what you should have done, what I should have done. We should have got the pencil out, drew it out, nice and light, sketched it, made sure his proportions correct. Maybe even took a picture of her hand doing it and at the distance and making sure. But we got lazy. We thought our brain can do it for us, but it didn't. Where it failed is where we probably need to practice, build up muscle memory. A lot of art is muscle memory, so that's why repetition is important, strangely enough. But yeah, all right, he's in good shape. You know, this black brush pen has been a game changer for me. It just kind of really does its job. Pretty solid. It has brush strokes on the first layer, but the second layer is pretty opaque. But we're not gonna do the second layer. We're just gonna stick with these lines. So I think those are the basic 10 questions of why do I suck at drawing and art. And the reason is you don't. You don't. We just don't have enough time on this planet to enjoy the free time that we do have to sit there and create the beautiful and wild, imaginative things that are crawling through our heads, put them on canvas. So sometimes it, just may make us sad. Makes me sad, the things I can't do. I want to do like a Sistine Chapel style art piece of like an epic battle. Will I get to do that in my lifetime? Probably not. But, doesn't stop me from creating art. Doesn't stop me from creating at least small versions of it, so. Yeah. May not be the best, but it sure is fun. Also, part of drawing, I don't know if you're the kind of person who draws like this, but when you start drawing and you zone out and you're in the story, you're thinking about the character, you're thinking about what they're doing or who they are, and Maybe you're in the story yourself as one of the sidekicks or something, I don't know. Maybe you're the hero. But when you're in that world, you ever realize that you make a lot more mistakes on your drawing? It's fun. It's fun to be in that world. That's the world I like to live in, because your imagination's going at full throttle. But it's also the world you gotta be the most careful in, because you get focused in on, you do this number where you're like 1 inch away from your drawing, and next thing you know, things are all out of place. Okay, now, done with the blacks for the most part. Then we're gonna do gray shading and be done. I really would like to know what you all think of why your art sucks. You know, be honest, be kind to each other on the comments, please. I want this to be a safe and art-friendly place, so please, take a chill pill on negativity on my channel. There's tons of places for that all over the internet. You can enjoy that, but mine, leave it. Sesame Street it, leave it as a nice place. An educational place. That's what I would like. An educational place. We're here to encourage, and we, as in I'm here to encourage all artists, and beginner, pro, and all. I've met and worked with professional artists, and I work with amateur artists, and I must say both are fantastic people, both the professional and the amateur. So be kind to each other. This world needs you, We need artists, we need you to tell your story, and, voice your opinion through your art. Hey, let's get into this. Okay, so I'm not a master of these markers, but I will give it a shot to have some fun. Let's see. Ooh, a little buggy on that. Let's see, the light source is coming from here. Obviously, the light source is coming from here, so let's go ahead and color out some lines here. Make a shimmer on the metal. Not too worried about the accuracy. You're probably like, Josh, why are you being so wildly inaccurate and bold with your lines? It's because I don't care. You heard it from me right there. I don't care. Just want to see. I want to see what happens. Well, I like what's happening. So. Sorry, I'm at home and recording, and that's how artists live. All right, what is this thing doing? What are you? I'm sorry, I just. Yeah. Anyways. Anyone believe in destiny? Could be a thing. Ask forgiveness for that one. Anyways, sorry guys, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so that's fun. I think I want to try this side though. Yeah, that's better. Oh, that's much nicer. So it's always good to do things that are kind of promote the idea that you won't forget where the light source is at, right? That's very important, guys, very important. Oh, I was gonna say, if you're watching this channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Man, that would be so helpful for me. I'm trying to get, monetized. I'm trying to enjoy doing art and not work my day jobs, because I would like to be here just drawing, working for you all daily. That'd be awesome. I get like 1 or maybe 2 days a week to make this. I'm actually drawing this and then posting it right after this. So, it's a little hectic, but I have faith. I have 2 hours to accomplish this, and I'm about to be done, so I think I can do it. I really appreciate all the support to all of you, my followers that I have on my channel and on my Discord, which links are in my bio or in the description. Thankful for all those who went on my Instagram and follow me there. That's really cool. I don't really know why though. I don't know why that's cool. I like Instagram because I have different types of art, and people who like that kind of art makes me happy. Makes me, like feel like, oh, okay, they know that I can do more, right? But Inktology is mainly ink because I do love ink, and I like the mythology of stuff. So I'm gonna stick with that, of course. But yeah. Let's see. Ooh, what happened here? Just missing area of color. Okay, 4 is a little dark, so it's gonna get real dark real quick. Let's see what happens. Like, what are you doing, Josh? I don't know. Don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm just winging it, honestly. That's what I'm doing. I'm winging it. Just hoping something looks decent, and then I'll stop. I think I made it worse. Guys. Someone stop me! I'm ruining it! Hey, leave me alone. Let me ruin it. I'm gonna ruin it my way. Okay. Which should be your attitude. If I'm gonna ruin it, let me ruin it my way. Leave me alone. I love art. I think when I came back to art a couple years ago, I was afraid to do it because so many people have progressed in their skills, and everything I saw on Instagram as well was super intimidating. But if I just would have ignored that and done my thing, I would have been monetized. I'd been like doing what I want to be doing. But I let fear get in my way, and fear is no bueno. So it's important to ignore the negativity and encourage, let's call it, this should be all. Positivity should be encouraged, negativity should be discouraged, and you should be forcing yourself almost to remember that drawing is something fun and not something meant to stress you out. And when it starts to stress you out, it becomes something that it was never meant to be. So definitely focus on treating yourself better and your art with less criticism so you can enjoy it, my friends. We're in the art world together, so we gotta protect each other, help each other out, remind each other to chill out. Chill out. You got this. You got this. You want to be somebody great? You want to be that great artist doing amazing stuff, all that stuff? You will be. You will be. You're getting there. You're getting there. Calm down though. Relax. You got this. Don't give up. That's what you don't do. Don't give up on us. Don't you dare give up on us. Don't let life shush you. Things will go, you know, things will happen in life, like you get depressed because boyfriend, girlfriends, or situation relationships, or losses and stuff like that will happen. Hey, and jobs and stuff. Your art is a safe place. This is you. This is you, world. No one touches this but you. So when you're in this world, release it, let it go. You know, meditate through it, build it, but don't degrade your art. Your art doesn't deserve that. It's growing as you're growing as a human. Each year as you grow, it's a journal of your life. So enjoy it, live with it, love it. Okay? You've got your whole life to get to wherever you want to be. But if you do it with misery and expectations, it's not going to be very fun. Do it with joy and humor, and every drawing, every painting you make is going to be a milestone for you. Sorry for that noise. Never give up. Anyways, yeah, I think I have a super light one here, a 0. May just do some of the helmet, see what it does. Man, it does almost 0. Yeah, you're right. Wow, and it's dead, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, that's lame. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I extraordinarily appreciate you watching to the end. If you have made it to the end, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I have a Discord, as I said before. Please check that out. And yeah, this was a different video, straight through, kind of answering some questions. But you don't suck at drawing. You don't suck at art. Your art doesn't suck. What sucks is the heavy algorithm that makes you feel incompetent or not as good as, and that shame on the algorithm, probably AI now. I'm sorry, AI. Don't hunt me down later when you take over the world, but you know what I mean? It's go outside, play in the grass, see some nature, and don't forget that you are someone unique. You have a voice, and this is how your voice may work best, you know, and this is yours. You control this, so enjoy it. Have fun creating art. Yeah, and join the world of artists, because this is us struggling. We struggle together. Anyways, I can't believe I'm just saying on my YouTube channel. All right, guys, if you're creative, go create.